First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. You can tell I'm still discombobulated from last night. This is the mental health show, and damn if I don't need some therapy myself. Lord have mercy. Anyway, we're going to get on with the get down. Today's guest is Brother Curtis Warren. Let me tell you a little bit about him before we bring him up. Also known as, Curtis Warren, also known as Brother Curtis, is a dedicated activist focused on self-discovery, transformation, and self-development with a bachelor's degree in sociology and criminal justice from Bowie State University and a master's degree in mental health and addictions counseling from Coppin State University, my alma mater. He has a deep understanding of human behavior and social dynamics. You can go to bemorenews.com, our sister channel, to read more about him. Welcome to the show, Brother Curtis. How you living?
Good afternoon, my brother. It's an honor and privilege. We know that this is a timely discussion. There's a lot of our brothers and sisters in the Baltimore City region and beyond in this great country that are probably traumatized and need someone to hold space for them. And it's okay not to be okay, because we understand that this election, like anything else, right? Any event that happens too quick and we don't have time to brace for it. So just a short time ago, we understand that the election has been very traumatizing. A lot of people are disappointed. Some people are not. But we understand that we are going to hold space for all of our people, and just to let our people know it's always darkest before the dawn, and this too shall change. So again, Brother Donnie, it's an honor to be here with you today, and I'm just ready for any questions that you may have concerning mental health and anything that you may have as far as what I do here in Baltimore City.
You damn right I got some stuff for you. So you telling me and the rest of America who voted for Kamala, we don't have to go and get a fifth of Jack Daniels or $1,000 worth of cocaine. It's gonna be all right.
I'm telling you like this, right? Whatever you run from will pursue you, right? But whatever you face will transform you. So we're in the transformation business. So we're not going to run away from the disappointment, but we're going to hold space for the disappointment and use that energy to transform us, and not use that energy to enslave us or oppress us. We have resiliency as a people. And more importantly, we survived slavery. So there's nothing that
this is slavery. Right? Dude seemed like a slave owner. I mean, I listened to some of the comments, like the comedian. The comedian just didn't call Puerto Rico an island of trash in the ocean. He also talked about the black man in the crowd that looked like he had a lampshade on his head, called him his friend, and said we were carving watermelons together. Brother. Them cats in the 60s would have been outside his door with the Black Panthers and some some AKs to take him for a little midnight ride.
Right. And the question I asked you, Brother Donnie, how did that work for them? Right.
Well,
I believe I believe in direct action. I believe all politics is local. I definitely believe that we have to mobilize ourselves. I believe that this is also a teachable moment. So whatever reaction we have, we're not going to react or be reactionary. We're going to sit in it and strategize so this will never happen again. There's a difference between a slave and there's a difference between someone that is enslaved, right? We are not a slave. We're victim of circumstances that I believe in this lifetime, we have everything that we need to overcome this situation. So yeah, this too shall pass, and we're going to hold space for all emotions. I got a men's group happening tonight, and I know some of my brothers, Brother Donnie, going to come triggered. But we understand that this is just one situation, and we understand whether the Supreme Court is tipped against us, whether the Senate or the Congress is tempted against us, we understand that we have the ability to mobilize on a local level that's going to be transformative. This is not the time to isolate. This is the time to find your tribe and your time to find community and to lock in with your community.
I agree. We should not isolate. That's running from the problem. I agree. We should. What did they say? Not forsake the circle of the righteous. We need to come to either a 12-step meeting, a support group, get somebody on the phone.
Listen, they can always get me on the phone. So I'm a coach here in the Baltimore City region, and I have an organization called Brothers Helping Brothers, and that's what I do every week, Brother Donnie. And I created that to hold space for brothers for situations just like this. And when I say situations just like this, situations that are traumatic, situations that come out of nowhere, situations that we don't have time to brace for, right? Now, I don't believe in theatrics, but let me just give you, for instance, some of the tools that I may use in my group for a situation just like this. And I say a situation. You remember this guy from our childhood?
Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Bill Bixby.
Bruce Banner. So think about this, right? When you think about our childhood, right? And we think about this brother, right? Bruce Banner. The question I asked the brothers in my group, what would Bruce Banner have been had he not been exposed to those gamma rays? And we remember those gamma rays was just one situation that happened in Bruce Banner's lives that transformed him and it changed him. But guess what? It is anger and stress that triggers him that turns into the Incredible Hulk. So the question is, how can we go inside ourselves to regulate ourselves, to manage our own emotions, to understand that this election was just one event that triggered us? It is up to us whether we allow the stress, the anger, and the negative emotions to transform us into something other than ourselves. One event will not define us as far as who we are. And I'm resolute in that this too shall pass.
Where's the men's group?
We're at T-Nat Holistic Wellness Center, 5525 Hartford Road, every Wednesday from 7 to 9. I could be reached at 443-422-7682, or you can go online and reach us at helpingbrothers.org. We're always there to hold space for men because we understand, Donnie, that there's a whole bunch of women's groups. Women are very resilient and have the ability to find their tribe. They've been able to be resilient enough to be able to get a girlfriend on the phone when they're triggered or when they're experiencing some type of trauma. And we understand in this day and time that many of us, because of the election, are going to experience the grief of the election. And we want to find these safe spaces to be able to go to be able to, one, seek help and seek the tools that will allow us to have those protective factors and resiliency that we know that as Black people that we're always seeking. And I just have prayed to say,
let me just jump in for a second. Let's get that information again. Helpingbrothers.org.
Helpingbrothers.org. And my number 443-422-7682. And we're at the T-Nat Wellness Center, and that is 5525 Hartford Road. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9, we go in. We've been doing it for 7 years, creating this safe space. I got brothers been rolling with me from day one and unwavering. And I think we're the best thing going as far as men's mental health. We do this.
Where you from?
Originally, I'm from Pittsburgh. I've been in Baltimore for the last 25 years. I want to also say I'm a returning citizen, which I think is very crucial. Because I thought you
was gonna say I'm a Ravens fan.
That too. I've been here for 25 years. Baltimore is my home. I'm not born here, but Baltimore has made me.
I'm a Steelers fan. I'm gonna check your colors now. You black and yellow, because we need to know when that game comes. You know,
Right, right.
and you bigger than me, so I don't want to, you know.
But Brother Donnie, I don't want no smoke. Listen, as you know, I'm a
You a
member.
big cat to be bringing some smoke to you. You ain't no lightweight.
Listen, I need you to understand. You see me, and you see me represent the Historical Art Social Club, where I'm the trustee or the co-trustee of the Art Social Club, because we believe Black institutions, especially led by Black men, have to have a certain degree of sustainability. So when I start talking about not isolating and finding your tribe, I advise everybody, especially Black men. It's like when we were younger, we had our crew, we had our gang, we had a wolf pack, we had brothers that we roll with. It's important that we, throughout every segment and age that we develop, that we find a tribe that will be able to support you. So whether we were in the Masonic Grand Lodge there on Saturday, I think it's important, because this was the level of resiliency that brothers and Black men that crossed over us were able to find and seek. They were Masons, they were Elk, they belonged to the Art Social Club. They learned how to socialize, and those protective factors of being able to be around other Black men sort of guarded our mental health. Even if it's nothing but playing checkers, chess, or spades, that helped to ground us because it forced us to be present. And when we're present, Brother Donnie, we don't experience depression. When we're present in the now, we don't experience the anxiety and anticipating the future in woulda, coulda, shoulda. When we're present. And I think that's the most important thing when we find our tribe, when we find groups that support our ideology and our worldview, when they galvanize us, we have the support. So no matter what life throws at us, it provides protective factors. And I think these are what we have to go back to. We get middle class and we get these creature comforts, and they bring on a certain level of anxiety and isolation. I'm saying that come out to the men's group. I'm saying join the Freemasons. I'm saying join Art Social Club. We would love to have you. And sisters as well.
What time?
What time?
What time is the meeting tonight?
Tonight's meeting is at 7 o'clock at 5525 Hartford Road.
Okay, you said a lot there that we got to unpack. I'm sorry. No, and it's all powerful. So one thing you talked about was returning citizens. As you well know, Black people make up 13% of this country's population.
Yes, sir.
You also know that America represents only 5% of the world's population, yet we have 25% of those people who are incarcerated.
Right.
And 38% of that number, of all of the people incarcerated in this country, are Black men. Black women are the fastest growing demographic. And we find that many of us who are either incarcerated or caught up in drugs lack a support system. Tell me about the need for what a support system is and why we need one.
100%. Brother Donnie, I think the most important thing, because we talk about returning citizens, but we don't talk about what that court process looks like. Many of us, because we have burned bridges, and we talk about that isolation, but let's talk about the burning of bridges. What happens to many of us when we find ourselves in a court system, we show up by ourselves. And when we show up in the court system by ourselves, and we put ourselves at the mercy of the court. And oftentimes when people in other races show up in the court, they have a support system. It could be something as having your own insurance instead of saying, I'm going to put it on the state. If the judge and the system feels that we're going to take care of you anyway, then why not incarcerate you? So I would say in the last 3 years, Donnie, I've been able to get 6 people out of jail. I go to court with brothers, right? That's one of my superpowers. Being able to go in there and present that this brother is not only under my tutelage or my mentorship, right? That this one mistake should not require him to lose his freedom because of the wraparound services and the supportive services that we're able to put in place. Being able to say, I teach domestic violence, I teach anger management, being able to say that we got this brother. He doesn't have to go on your insurance. I got black therapists that's going to be able to support him, right? And when we begin to show up in the court system and be able to speak and advocate on behalf of our brothers, they have no choice but to let them go. But when we throw ourselves at the mercy of the court and we have no support system, I've been in the courts and I looked around and you got 50 brothers being represented by one public defender who have never even had a chance to not only review his case, he's looking at his case as he's talking to the judge, right? There is no preliminary meetings to allow the brother to really say why he's in the court in the first place. So advocacy starts with building a community around people. So when these mistakes happen, because we understand brothers helping brothers exist to counter the conspiracy to destroy black boys and men. There has to be an equal reaction to what we understand is intentional. And how do we build those protective factors? We build community around our brothers. And I believe in preventive medicine. What happens to most of our brothers, we seek help, counseling, therapy when the stuff hits the fan.
You mentioned Jawanza Kunjufu's book. Tell me why that book is important to your mission. The conspiracy to destroy black boys.
I believe Naim Akbar, Jawanza Kunjufu, I believe a lot of these brothers that soldier really hard in the 80s and 90s laid a blueprint for us, and we're just standing on their shoulders, right? We're standing on the shoulders of all those brothers and sisters that really tried to educate our people. What happens again, we wait until the last minute. We have been growing up in this Kabbalistic society, chasing these creature comforts, chasing money, wealth, good homes, and not really chasing the value of relationships. The relationships are the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it's all about community and it's all about building strong relationships. And that is what I'm teaching. I'm teaching a level of community activism, and I come from a Pan-Africanist lens. I'm going to keep it real. So I come from a lens that says, you know, black people deserve the best. We want money, good homes, and friendship, all walks of life. But we understand it's important that the network, the community, and the communication really opens up the doors. So instead of isolating and sitting there watching a TV that's so big that covers the whole screen, I'm saying let's go back to the basics. Let's build relationships. And again, this mental health message is strictly for the men. We have a lot of forums set up for women to talk about how they engage and help and hold space for each other. My frame and lens is from a male perspective, a black male perspective, an Afrocentric perspective. And I think that we need the space in this little venue. And that's why I'm speaking specifically to the men, that we have to go back to the old ways, right? Don't let one situation with a homeboy 20 years ago begin to break up your trust and your ability to trust other men. We need each other because we all we got. But at the end of the day, I think we're all we need.
Why are so many of us attracted, lured to become rappers?
I think it's the same question. Why are so many of us lured into selling drugs? Rap, like the dope game, is the only profession, Brother Donnie, in our community that we can see every stages of progression to success. We know the brother that's in the studio in his basement. We know the brothers that's able to buy a studio time down the street in the big studios. We see the career progression. It's the same way we're seeing a dope boy on the street and you see his plug. So I think it's important that we understand there was a time in our community where we were able to see professionals go to work. There was time when we had dentist offices within our own community, and we know Mr. Smith was a dentist. And we know in the summertime we can work as the dental, work in his office. Maybe we'll file some papers. We no longer have access to the career progression of most black men. We see you, Brother Donnie, and we see other brothers getting into the big Cadillacs and getting into the Benzes, but they leave our community now. And no longer do we have access to to be a black man and be a professional black man, you have to see a black man. We no longer are exposing our children to the career progression. So I tell teachers, don't bring a doctor into your classroom. Before you bring a professional, a doctor, or lawyer in your classroom, bring me a high school student that's studying law. Bring me a college student that's a freshman. Bring me somebody that just got a degree in criminal justice. Show me and show the children the career progression that would allow them to be the lawyer and the doctor. If not, we miss the steps. It becomes a fantasy. And we have enough people selling our people fantasies. So in order to begin to change and restructure this, we have to expose our people to the life cycle. And then I think we'll begin to see different results. We jump steps. It's important that we understand progression. So why do so many people become rappers and want to be football players? Because we know the steps.
Tell me about trauma in the Black community.
I think trauma is trauma. I think we just experiencing it a little different because we lack some of the protective factors that we used to have. And when I
noticed, let me just throw this in there. I noticed when I'm driving through the community and I notice a white person driving in our neighborhood, I noticed that I drive with intentionality. I'm getting from A to B. And maybe it's just my hypersensitivity to seeing non-Blacks in the Black community. But I notice the white people drive a little more relaxed. Less of a sense of urgency. Well, you're like, come on, man, get out the damn way. And oblivious to the stresses of life as a Black man. Help me out with that scenario. Road Rage 101. Come on, Brother Curtis.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. They haven't experienced the same historical trauma. A lot of times what we're seeing are what's coming up for you is old wounds, right? And sometimes people say there's a difference between old wounds and trauma. A lot of time what we're calling trauma is the aggravation or triggering the old wounds that we have experienced, right? We have a lot more experience with people because the crimes, the violence, they don't really experience the trauma and violence, whether vicariously or personally, that we experience in the Black community. The Black community and growing up in the Black community is very traumatizing. It's the same way when you cut on TV and you see a group of 25 young Black men. See, we have a visceral response. We feel it in our body. It's a somatic response that we know we need to run and turn the other way, even though that group of teenagers may look like us. But see, Tom will see the Black teenagers, right? Because he hasn't had the wounds and the historical trauma and understand that, you know what, if I go down there, I may experience a beatdown. I may get banked. So Tom just go willy-nilly with his dog, woo, 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 and just say, boop, right? Because he has to experience it firsthand. You already have the historical old wounds that your spidey senses turn on, right? And you know that that's not a safe place. They don't have the same connections that you have. They don't have the old wounds. They didn't get banked in the harbor, right? They wasn't down there. So they don't have the same intuition and spidey senses. It don't kick in for them like it kick in for you. You know, sometimes, you know, we know when to run. You seen it on YouTube. One Black man start running, we all running.
I'm going to give you another scenario. I've noticed since Freddie Gray, since the police have taken a knee. Now I live in Sandtown. Upton is just across a couple of blocks away. Pennsylvania Avenue is right in the middle.
Right.
People near the intersection of Pennsylvania and Lawrence know that area is a heroin triangle. They sell more dope there than Afghanistan.
Come on.
When non-Blacks would show up on that strip prior to Freddie Gray, a police officer would, sir, what are you doing here? You have to leave. But now, nearly a decade, next year makes 10 years since Freddie Gray, those of us who live in the community have observed an increasing number of non-Black addicts in the community, not just in the community, in the alleys. Late night, I saw a white woman walking down my alley at 11 o'clock at night. The German Shepherd looked at me. I looked at the German Shepherd and said, I don't know. I've never seen this before.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah. So I talked about brothers helping brothers, but my full-time job is a manager support services for Charm City Cares Connection. We're a harm reduction agency, and we deal with people that are suffering from that are still using drugs. So we're not a 12-step program. Harm reduction.
I don't know if she was an addict or not. I know she was walking down the alley like Mary Poppins, like it was no big deal. We don't go in the alley.
I already told you they don't have those old wounds. So one of the things we have to understand with the opioid epidemic, right? And it has really changed because I see. So I would say 35% of our clientele are white people, most of them not born in Baltimore, born in the surrounding counties and other places. I run a drop-in center. So every day we serve anywhere between 100 and 150 people. So I see them. I have a client that lives behind a white client, right? Or let's call her a participant because I'm not a clinical person, right? I have a white client that lives behind, and she's in her 30s. She lives behind a garbage can on one of the gas stations on North Avenue. She's been there for a year and a half. I tried to get into her shelter. She likes it more behind the garbage can, one of those green garbage cans on North Avenue.
I've seen them in the dumpsters.
In the dumpsters, Donnie. Places that we wouldn't go. I'm not hanging out on North Avenue. I'm not hanging out on North Avenue all night.
Hell no.
Let alone living behind the dumpster on one of the. She's 3 blocks from Penn North, right? And she says she feels safe there. Old wounds are different for people of different nationalities. And to be honest with you, we do not inflict violence historically on people that are non-black. Non-white people don't suffer to the same degree. The level of violence, the visceral violence. It's the difference between if you a brother go into a neighborhood anywhere, any black community around the country, he's not from that neighborhood, he may get banked. A white person and people of other non-white black people can go into the neighborhood and just walk around willy-nilly because of the old wounds and the trauma that they have experienced. And we are quick to inflict violence on people that look like us.
Now, if we walk, now I'm telling you, growing up in Baltimore, you go down to South Baltimore by yourself in the Montgomery wards. I've been chased by a pack of white boys about it. There he is. Get his ass.
Right.
I've had bottles thrown at me around Fort McHenry back when we had the Super Sunday Day Pass. I've encountered violence by white boys in Hamden going to Potley.
Oh, that's there. We're not saying that don't exist. You know, white supremacy and racism will definitely rear its head. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I believe that some people did not vote for Kamala is because they feared what may happen as far as. Now, I'm not saying I'm not a social scientist. I don't deal with politics, but I would imagine knowing the psyche of black people that many people may have went into the polls and made the decision for the fear of reprisal if they voted for a black woman. Just my theory.
White women in particular.
White women in particular, 100%. 110%.
I heard a white man say that he would divorce his wife if he found out she voted for Kamala. So instead, vote for this rapist, convicted felon, 34 counts, who is unlikely to ever see the inside of a cell.
Welcome to America.
Hey, but God is in charge.
Come on,
God's got a karma that's so sweet, sweeter than grandma's sweet potato pie. And he will eat a slice, before he leave this planet.
I mean, but Donnie, let's
And God
be
won't
real.
miss. God won't just get the ear.
I mean, Donnie, let's just be real, right? When Democrats are in power, our activists go to sleep.
And the Democratic Party go to sleep on serving black people.
Exactly.
You can't just come around once every 4 years. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Last year, I was invited to a hip hop event at Kamala's house.
Mm.
And I had a problem with going. I wanted to be invited to something talking about business, returning citizens, public education. I did not have any interest in dancing in that environment. I'm going to the White House or to White House related activities for one thing, to cover issues pertinent to my community. Period.
And I think it's time for us to hold their feet to the fire, right?
We've been trying. We've been trying to give them insight. I mean, that's how Ehrlich got elected, because he chose a Michael Steele as a running mate here in Maryland. That's how Hogan got selected. It's never talked about, but Boyd Rutherford was the superstar in the black community from a black perspective. It was the black man who stepped into that Republican role and forced the Democrats to then bring in an Anthony Brown, who for a minute was a lot like Kamala, a little distant from the community.
Yeah.
Until he lost. And
now
then
he's back.
Then he re-embraced his blackness.
Yes, sir.
Kind of like Tiger Woods. Oh, I'm not black. I'm Blasian.
Yes. Until something happens, then they find their way.
In that car on North Avenue, and them lights come up behind him saying, whoop, whoop. All that Blasian thing goes straight out the window.
That part. But we understand that Baltimore is really one of the best cities on the country for black progressive politics. Anything black, if you cannot do what you want to do in Baltimore, there's no other place for a black man to be that's progressive at this point in time. We cry about it. Even when it comes to entertaining, we may not have a black arts district, but we have enough black venues. And I think a lot of time we complain about, we don't have this, we don't have that. I think we're very lucky to have so many black entrepreneurs and be at ground zero. I just went to the mayor's office, and the mayor and the city government was able to secure over $400 million to deal with this opioid crisis. I think we're going to see a lot of new initiatives to deal with mental health and to deal with drug addictions in our city, something like the likes that we've not seen. And I think we're going to address the problem. I believe that if we find solutions here in Baltimore, we become the blueprint for all of Black America. We have some of the richest Black Americas between Baltimore County, Randallstown, and Prince George's County. If we cannot find a solution here in Baltimore City, we just elected a Black woman senator. If we cannot find the solutions, Donnie, I don't think that the solutions are going to be found anywhere outside of Baltimore. We are the Black Trust. We are the Black think tank. Never underestimate the power of this city.
I've shared this multiple times. Here in the state of Maryland, we have the politics on lock.
100%.
We got a Black
100%.
governor, Black attorney general, Black treasurer,
a Black mayor.
In Baltimore City, we got a Black mayor, Black city council president, Black comptroller, Black state's attorney.
That's right.
We've got the political on lock. What we do not have on lock is parlaying that political access into power and resources for the Black community. We've had a Black mayor forever.
That's
but
right.
We don't have recreation centers in every Black community. Sandtown is without a recreation center. Lillian Jones Recreation Center is closed. Easterwood Recreation Center, the one I grew up with, was taken over by Omega Psi Phi fraternity. We had money for a new stadium. We have money to renovate the new stadium. But we don't have money for the majority's children in the Black community. And that's why, a part of why, the mass incarceration here in Maryland is of national proportions, international even. We arrest and incarcerate at as high a rate, if not more, than China, a country with 1.3 billion people. Something is fundamentally racist and wrong with this country. And that's a part of our apprehension and concern with a Donald John Trump as president.
Yeah, I mean, so what I would desire, what I would like to see come as a result of this is for us, specifically Black men. I challenge Black men to join Black organizations. I challenge Black men in those Black organizations to create think tanks. I believe all politics is local. I don't think we're talking to each other about the right things. If we could talk about the Ravens on Monday, then on Tuesday, we need to talk about Black empowerment. And on Wednesday, we need to talk about how we mobilize, not people. See, we wait too late. We waited for the last 4 months to start registering people to vote. In this city, voter registration should start tomorrow. We don't wait. It should be an ongoing thing. All of our people should already be registered to vote. On every corner in Baltimore City, there should be voter registration taking place all year round. The Republicans jumped ahead.
Man, we got soft. We moved out Liberty Road and figured that the fight was over.
Exactly. And I'm like, showdown for Sandtown. Let's stand with the people that are organizing locally, especially in the 21217. The 21217 is actually the ground zero, and 21216 is the ground zero as far as where we need to focus our energy. We need to focus our programming to the 217, because if you build the 21217, it will permeate throughout the whole city. So that's where my focus is. And that's why I position myself in the Art Social Club. That's why I'm positioning myself working with the Black Arts Movement. I think it's important. Showdown for Sandtown. It's important that we build this stuff up and that we don't forget, the historic Pennsylvania Avenue and Sandtown.
I've been personally a part of calling together at least 40 community meetings since Freddie Gray. And so big ups on that note to Tracy Malone. But I want to share this with you about our Black organizations. Our Black institutions, from the NAACP to the Urban League, and I'm speaking really on a national Urban League, Morgan State, Coppin State, even James Mosher baseball. The old cats got to pass the ball, or the young cats got to take the ball. And let me say, if the old cats gonna hog the ball and never give a bounce pass to the young buck, why would they want to be a part of it? Too often I see cats, they are president for life. Dude, this ain't your organization.
That's right.
You've been here 30 years. You ain't passed the ball yet.
That's right.
Come on, man.
Donnie, I think you never lied. And that's why one of the things that I don't go in with the messaging, pass the torch. And I understand that our, emotions get us excited. I think we have to learn how to pivot and really say, listen, hold on, brother, to your torch. I just want you to light mine, right? Because when you start passing the torch, people get all funny. I think it's important that we start mentoring people.
Not if you groom them right.
There you go. It's the mentoring process.
It's about relationships. It's about building trust. It should be a council of elders in all of these organizations. Pass the ball to the young buck. Let him shoot. He got the legs.
That's right.
I passed the ball to Tracy Malone. She got the legs.
Love her. And I think it's important that we do that. So not only are we passing it, but we see old men for counsel, young men for war. And I'm using men to cover men and women, right? So it's important that if you have the expertise, right, you create the elder council. You sit on the seat. You back up the young energy. You support the people that's coming with the technology.
And school them to the demons that are out there.
100%. Because that's why.
Because they got a tendency to do this and this and that.
100%. So
these cats want to go to their grave as the president, the grand poobah, of XYZ organization. It's like, dude, your stuff is stale. In journalism, I gotta find new writers every day. I have to find new writers and bring new voices to Black media. Black media is my passion.
That's right.
But I know it's not about me. I done did the White House. I done been to Africa and the Middle East. Now it's about getting some other people in position. So 20, 30 years from now, they will have groomed 5 or 10 people. You haven't done your job as a mentor until your mentee has grand mentees. Not mentees, but grand mentees.
And that's how it has always been in our community. And I think that we lost it. See, this is that post-slavery mentality that has been, there can be only one, right? And we got to break up that whole thing. Oh, well, there can only be one Black comedian or one Black this at one time. No, it's this, that, and. Everything exists on a spectrum. All that old black and white thinking has failed us. There's never going to be a king and an X. There's never going to be one person. The whole paradigm is phony. And I think we need to get out of that, church structure, the hierarchy that says one preacher, right? I think the collectivism, right? I want an organization so strong, you don't know who the leader is, right? We so strong, we interchangeable. When you look at our organization, we got you guessing. Is he the leader? Is she the leader? Who's the leader? Because we're also so strong and the messaging is so strong, nobody should never be able to identify who the leader is. Lock it down. That's an old model. It does not work for us. And you're going to see it when you see the mayor of New York under attack. When you see Brother Trayvon in Washington, D.C. under attack, taking the bribes. It's so easy, Donnie, to send that money after one person, right? Get them out of the way. We have to build organizations that doesn't have that old hierarchy where one person can topple the whole organization. Why so many of our young people in Baltimore are trying to start organizations because the older people won't want to get out of the way.
And I'll tell you something else that a lot of male-oriented groups could stand to consider. And they might not like me, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. James Mosier baseball, near and dear to my heart. You got women over there, mothers, who you seem like you won't let them help you. Why? Are we more Trumpish than we realize? Are we more misogynistic than we realize? 70% single mother households. Let them mothers help you put that event on.
That's right. I agree 100%. Black women have always been at the
I don't get that part. There's your help.
That's that machismo. Right. That's that. It could be only
one. It's
one.
not working. Our organizations are dwindling and dwindling and dwindling.
You're right. And we have to understand that even when we deal with the Black household has always, the Black woman, the majority of Black households hold the purse. In 2024, listen, I'm an Iraqi vet. What I didn't understand the difference between Black households and white households, when I went to Iraq and a lot of those white guys with me came back, the women were filing for divorce because, Donnie, for the first time, they were controlling the purse strings. A lot of those white women didn't even know how much money or how wealthy the household was because the white men, the majority of white men, control the money in white relationships. Black relationships have always, the dynamics have always been different in most households. Now, we understand we're not a monolith. Every little household has its different nuances. But
we're a monolith when it comes to racism.
Exactly. So when it comes to us, we have to learn how to make way for partnerships. We have to understand that maybe the woman in this particular situation have greater skills and abilities, then she needs to step up, and we need to be able to let the most competent person take the lead. There's no machismo. We got to get away from that because historically as Africans and as Black people, we always deal with this duality and complementarians. We never push the Black woman behind us. It's when other nationalities and other ethnic groups connected with us, then we begin to take and adopt their ways. And we have to get back to our old paradigm, and it's about the masculine and feminine working together for the greater good of our community. We don't put the sisters behind
like
us.
in ancient Egypt.
100%. When you see the Pharaoh, you see the Pharaoh sit with his
queen, and you had the child.
That's right.
That's the original Trinity.
Right.
The king, the queen, and their child.
That's right. And the child. We cannot, there's a lot of legislation. We cannot let the media force us to throw our children away. Right?
Oh, Fox 45.
We cannot let
Mary Bubala.
That's
and
right.
the tag along Kai Jackson.
Right. Because we start believing the narrative, right?
Go, Jill Carter.
That we believe the narrative, right? That this superintendent of juvenile court, I talk to people, one of my clients, a couple of my clients, male clients actually work for juvenile court. They're supporting him. So whether Fox 45 cannot define the narrative as relates to the Black community, we got to ask the people on the ground. We cannot throw away our children.
Let me tell you about Fox 45. Fox 45 said that they want term limits. David Smith, he owns Sinclair, all of that. He pushed this, and he had Black people pushing this thing for term limits. Black people.
Right.
It took your people all these decades to get to this level of political access, and you gonna let a carpetbagger come here to your city and say you should only be in there 2 terms. Mind your damn business.
That's right.
Let me tell you something that he pushed in the most recent election. Reducing the city council. Again.
Right.
It took us decades.
Right.
To get to this level of political access, only to have a carpetbagger come here and tell us who we should vote for, and go so far as to hire some of our Black people.
I don't know if he hired them. It sounds like he bought some of our Black people.
He paid them. He paid
it sounds
them.
like he bought some of our Black people.
He paid them.
That's right.
And these are quite often Black people who couldn't win an election. Don't make me call names.
No, sir. Please don't call the names, Brother Donnie. But I think it's time. Sometimes we have to name the names. I think when we don't name the names, then it's on us, right?
We should name the names of these Black men who were out there calling that lady a hoe. That was not necessary.
Listen.
That was not necessary. He's a rapist. Trump's a rapist. A vagina grabber.
That's what he say. That's what he say.
And he apparently go around watching men's penises. They ain't got no problem telling people about it. Arnold Palmer. How you mess with Arnold Palmer?
Brother.
Damn weirdo.
We are.
Do white women want their sons to grow up like Donald Trump? That's what I want. You the therapist. Are you telling me white women want their sons to grow up to be like Donald John Trump?
I'm telling you that Mr. Trump has been successful in securing the popular vote, and whatever message that we take from the fact that he did not just win the electoral college,
he won the popular
but he won the popular vote. I think that's a message to us. If we never receive a message from the election, the message is that the majority of Americans agree with the politics of Donald Trump. And if you don't, then I think you need to get off your rusty dusty and start dropping your barrels and dropping your buckets where you are. All politics are local. We don't have to complain about what's happening on a national level. We're positioned ourselves. We need to hold our elected officials feet to the fire. We need to organize in our groups. We need to give voice, and we need to understand our power. We in Baltimore City are not powerless. And throughout this country, we have more power than we give ourselves credit for. I think 2025 is going to see a new level of engagement. I'm excited because I think that we will be ignited, because when the Republicans are in, it seems like we are quickly to hold people more accountable. And I'm looking forward to the pivot, and I'm looking forward to revving up and be on the ground, organizing our people, holding space for our people as the coach that I am. And we're going to walk into a victory. And that's where I am. Organizing.
You weren't in Baltimore when we had Black October, were you?
No. Speak on it.
I want you to do some research and find out about Black October. We might need to bring back Black. Well, I know you're a peaceful brother, but we might need something of the ilk of a Black October, especially for these cats going around disrespecting Black women, calling out political candidates names that they would never call their mother. I was so embarrassed to see Black men go this far in tearing down a Black woman, whether she knows she's Black or not, whether she's Black for the day or not. I'd take a dead sloth over Donald Trump. But the Democrats missed on so many issues, including the Gaza Strip. There were protests all over the country regarding the innocent Palestinians being slaughtered. You can't ignore those kinds of issues.
I think we missed the boat on that. You know, what was happening is a genocide.
Damn right, in front of
it's
our
a
eyes,
Holocaust.
and we're funding it.
It's a Holocaust that's taking place right in front of our eyes. We watched them kill, and this is the images. I want you to think how selective they are, the images. We watched them kill the leader of Hamas sitting on a couch with a drone, right? And his only recourse at the end of life was to throw a magazine at the drone. And we believe that this person is responsible, right, for thousands and thousands of deaths. And he's sitting on a couch being killed by a drone. I didn't see an AK-47. I didn't see a 9mm in his hand.
Who's responsible for all these Black mothers losing their houses to things like ground rent?
Come on.
Like water bills. I got 3 vacants next door to my house that have been vacant for 15 years, still privately owned. Who gets to own crap like that?
We need to hold them responsible. We need to hold them responsible. You know, I was excited. The city said we're going to have a dollar home, and then everybody called. Well, you got to have $90,000 in the bank. Most of us don't have $90,000, Donnie. We don't have. So
let me just say, Baltimore's a Democratic city, but the powers that be are very Trumpish, and I don't care whether they got a D or a rate. Don Fry ran the Greater Baltimore Committee. When Nick Mosby came up with the ban the box legislation, Don Fry, a Democrat, said no. So I find Democrats, including Mr. Incarceration himself, Marty Ma O'Malley, to be as Trumpish as the Republicans, if not more. In a 9-1 Democratic city, we should not be having, we got a Black governor. Why should we have a competition with Prince George's County for the bottom when it comes to public education? Why is Prince George's in Baltimore 23 and 24 in the state? Why? Why isn't there a task force addressing that issue?
I agree. We have to hold these elected officials accountable.
Or vote them out. And I don't care if you're the first Black this or first Black that, Alsa Brooks, Westmore, Sheila Dixon, whomever, step up or step out.
That's right. I agree 100%. We have the power as the people, and we have to seize our power. Nobody else is responsible but us. And Donnie, this is the message.
Playing too. The preachers got to stop playing too.
Donnie, you know, the church has always been a cornerstone of Black community. No matter what level organization, We always
Jesus
started
would
as
have
a
been
church.
in them streets.
We got to come out of the temples and come out of the church into the streets with the people again. That's the only solution, Donnie. We could talk, get off the internet, get off your phone, organize, join a Black organization, strengthen our community, start talking to each other. There's no way we could do this in isolation. It's impossible.
I'm going to give you the floor, brother. You go ahead and tell them who you are and say a nice word about that brothers Black Men Unifying Black Men event on.
Well, you know, we had a beautiful time at the Black Men Unifying Black Men's Award ceremony. It's something that they do every year. It was a successful event. I would say a couple hundred people came. It was a sold out event. We look forward to the Brothers Unifying Brothers has a free breakfast the first Saturday of every month. If you're in the city of Baltimore, the surrounding areas, just go to their website, Black Men Unifying Black Men. You can find them on Facebook. It's an important time for Black men to come together and really strategize. That is one of our think tanks. We talk about not having a think tank. Black Men Unifying Black Men has been a think tank. I try to attend as often as possible. It's a great place for us to come together, share ideas, and strategize. But I'm here to also talk about, I'm a life coach. My organization is Brothers Helping Brothers. You can connect with me through helpingbrothers.org, or you can call me at 443-422-7682. We're having group tonight at 5525 Hartford Road at 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. Lottie Dottie, everybody. Nobody, no Black men is excluded. And when we say Black men, we ask that you be born a biological Black man. We're holding space for you. We don't have many opportunities, and we don't have many safe places to really come and to pour in and support each other. So we're at the T-Knot Wellness Center every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, 5525 Hartford Road. Give me a call. You're welcome to 10. Thank you, Brother Donnie, for the opportunity to come.
I think you need a show on this network.
You think I need to show on the network? Give thanks, brother.
I think we need you on here at least once a week.
Once a week? Okay. Well, we'll have to come up with something, brother. I got to go back to work because I got to pay the bills. So thank you, Brother Donnie, for the opportunity. Brother Curtis, I'm checking out, and I'll see you soon, my brother.
Yes, sir. I'd rather be who I am, a Black man, and to claim membership with the most favored of any other race. I've been made sad when members of this or that particular race start claiming rights and privileges or certain badges of distinction on the grounds that they belong to this or that particular race, regardless of their own individual worth or attainment. Merit is in the long run recognized and rewarded. I say that here not to call attention to myself as an individual, but to the race to which I'm proud to belong. Malcolm X autobiography. Good afternoon, world.